Hello, everyone, and welcome. Excuse me. Welcome into the Friday edition of the Greater Houston Area Rankings Scoreboard Show. Don't you just love that? Sitting there watching the countdown for 2 minutes, and then I sneeze. Anyway, welcome in, and let's get right into it with Thursday's scores. In 6A, 3A number 3 Atascocita takes down Humble 58-0. Number 4 Westfield 64-0 over Eisenhower. Number 7 Tompkins 55-21 over Morton, which solidifies 19-6A a bit. I think now the goalie of the three top teams are Katy, followed by Cinco Ranch and Tompkins. And most likely it's Morton Ranch and George fighting it out for the fourth spot there. Number 18, Cyfair, 50-0 over Northbrook. Number 19, Klein Kane, 53-20 over Klein Oak. And number 22, Houston Lamar, 63-0 over Sam Houston. Now the games that we played tonight. Number 1, North Shore host Westbrook. Number 5, Shadow Creek travels to Alvin. Number 6, the Woodlands plays College Park. Number 9, Klein Collins plays Klein Forest. Number 10, C.E. King travels to Beaumont to play United. Number 11, Dickinson travels to Brazoswood. Number 12, Stratford plays Springwoods. Number 13, Jersey Village plays Cy Creek. Number 14, Cy Ranch plays Bridgeland. And number 15, Deer Park travels to Pasadena to play Memorial. Number 16, Summer Creek plays Kingwood. Number 17, New Caney hosts Grand Oaks. Number 20, Hightower plays George Ranch. Number 23, Cinco Ranch plays Pato. Number 24, Clear Springs plays Clear Lake. And in the Battle of Pearland, number 25, Pearland plays Pearland Dawson. One game on tap 6A tomorrow as number 8, Ridgepoint host Fort Bend Clements. Two teams open this week are number 2, Katy, and number 21, Clear Falls. Move into our 5A scoreboard. Last night, number 1, Fort Bend Marshall played Nederland in a game I didn't get a score for, but they did play last night. Number 2 and number 3, Foster and Manville tried to play, but were postponed due to lightning. Number 4, Lake, moving on to tonight's action. Number 4, Lake Creek will host Brian Rudder. Number 5, Port Arthur Memorial will host Goose Creek Memorial. Number 10, Fulshear travels to number 6, Magnolia West. I'm going to talk more about that game in just a moment. Number 12, Dayton travels to number 7, Port Neches Groves. Number 9, Galveston Ball host Houston Milby. Number 10, Texas City host Port Bend Willow Ridge. And number 15, Houston Waltrip takes on Houston Sterling. Let's talk a bit more about that Fulshear Magnolia West matchup. You see both teams are 5-1 on the year and 3-1 in district play. So obviously a huge game in 10-5A D1. Fulshear is a high-scoring team, averaging 57 points per game. That's the highest-scoring offense in 5A D1 Region 3. Magnolia West is averaging 29 points a game. Fulshear gives up some points, giving up 31 points a game. Magnolia West gives up 12 points a game, which is the fourth stingiest defense in Region 3 of 5A D1. You see the best win on the year for Fulshear was their 46-14 win over Friendswood. And their worst loss was their 4-point loss, their only loss to Angleton. For best win for Magnolia, I picked their 12-7 win over Foster, and their worst loss being their only loss to Manville 14-30. Now, Fulshear is going to be led by Their quarterback, Parker Williams, he has thrown 15 touchdown passes this year. Add in their running back, Davian Godley, with 10 rushing touchdowns. When Williams does target his receivers, he spreads the ball all over the place. 7 different receivers have been the recipients of those 15 touchdown passes. And Magnolia West, their highlight here is their defense, and it's led by junior linebacker Sam Mattingly, who has 72 tackles, 9 of those for loss, to go with 5 sacks. Senior linebacker Tyler Harsh with 59 tackles, and senior defensive lineman Sawyer Swinford with 40 tackles, 10 of those for loss, 6 sacks on the season. So if you're in the area of Magnolia, swing by. Should be a good game tonight. Then tomorrow's action in 5A, number 13, Kingwood Park, host Baytown Lee. 2 teams open this week are Angleton and Barbers Hill. Let's move into our 4A action. Tonight, number 1, Belleville travels to play traditional rival Sealy. Number 2, Silsbee hosts Liberty. Number 3, Lumberton travels to Vidor. Number 4, Stafford hosts Brazosport. Number 6, El Campo travels to Needville. Number 7, Navasota hosts Iowa Colony. Number 8, Little Cypress Maurieville travels to Livingston. Number 9, Hampshire Fannett travels to Hardin Jefferson. Number 10, Royal hosts Wharton. Number 5, Jasper is open. 3A scoreboard, we're going to look at in depth at 3 of these games. First one is going to be number 2, Hitchcock travels to take on number 1, Columbus, and we're going to go a little in depth on that game here in a minute. Number 3, Orangefield travels to Hardin. Number 4, Hallettsville travels to Hempstead. Number 5, East Chambers travels to number 6, Anahuac. We'll look at a little bit of that game here in a minute. Number 7, Bowling travels to Altair to take on Bronx Consolidated. And number 9, Brazos travels to take on number 8, Tidehaven. We're going to look a little at that game here in a minute. Then Black, the 10th ranked team, is open this week. Hitchcock versus Columbus. 2 undefeated teams. Both have played good schedules. They're both 1-0 in district, so this is the critical game in their district, most likely the district championship game. Hitchcock is putting up 46 points per game, giving up 20 points per game. That's a differential 26 points per game. That's second in Region 3 of 3A D1, and it's second to Columbus, who is scoring 48 points per game, giving up 9 points per game, and that's a 39-point differential. And like I said, the number 1 scoring, the number 1 differential in Region 3. Defensively, Columbus defense is the number 1 scoring defense in all of 3A UIL in Texas. Hitchcock is led. Now, these are 2 teams you're going to really want to keep an eye on, not in just this game and the remainder of the season, but over the next couple of years, because these are 2 really good teams. They're also really young. Hitchcock is led by their sophomore quarterback, Lloyd Chubb Jones, and Columbus is led by their sophomore quarterback, Adam Schobel. Let's move on and look at East Chambers and Anahuac. East Chambers 5-1 on the season, 2-0 in district play. Anahuac 5-2 on the season, 2-1 in district play. East Chambers is scoring 28 points a game, but giving up 20 points per game. Anahuac is scoring 39 points per game, giving up 17. Now, East Chambers' best win is their win over Buna, 42-27. And their only loss was to Hampshire Fannett, 0-41. For the best win for Anahuac, I picked their win over New Waverly, 35-17. And their worst loss was to Newton, 14-30. Now, this is these teams have play a lot. Since 2006, they played 16 times. East Chambers has been the winner in 14 of those games, with the Anahuac Panthers only wins coming in 2008 and 2016. The game is in Anahuac, just to the east of Baytown. So if you're in that area, swing by and catch this game tonight. And the final game we're going to take a look at is going to be Brazos versus Tidehaven. Brazos 6-1 on the season, 2-1 in district play. Tidehaven 4-2 on the season, 2-0 in district play. Now, Brazos is putting up some points, 43 points per game, only giving up 18 points per game. Tidehaven, 33 points per game scoring, giving up 24 points per game. For Brazos, I picked their best win as their win over Nixon Smiley, 39-8. And their only loss in the year was to a district game to Van Black, 43-50. Tidehaven, best win was over Rice Consolidated, 42-28. And their worst loss was just before district play when they lost to Industrial, 22-42. Now, these are another set of teams that have played each other a lot recently. They played 17 times since 2004. Tidehaven has won 11 of those 17 games. These two teams played twice last year, once in the regular season with Brazos winning 21-6, and then in a very different game in the playoffs, Tidehaven wins 70-13. So if you're in the down there around the coast, drop in to on the Thon and see the Tidehaven Tigers take on the Brazos Cougars. Now let's move on to our non-UIL 11-man scoreboard, where we have number 1 St. Thomas traveling to number 10 Tomball Concordia Lutheran. Number 2 John Cooper travels to Houston Christian. Number 3 Bel Air Episcopal hosts Dallas St. Mark's. Number 4 St. John's hosts the Spring Legacy School of Sports Science. Number 5 Kincaid hosts Episcopal School of Dallas. Number 6 Fort Bend Christian travels to Houston Second Baptist. Number 7 the Woodlands Christian hosts Katy St. John the 23rd. Number 9 Lutheran South hosts Beaumont Kelly. Number 8 Cypress Christian is open this week. Moving on to our 6-man Super 6. Katy Faith West will be traveling to take on number 1 Pasadena First Baptist. Number 3 Baytown Christian takes on Galveston O'Connell. Number 5 Houston Texas Christian travels to Victoria to take on Victoria Homeschool. Then tomorrow, game that I'll be at tomorrow night, number 4 Sugarland Logos Prep travels to Emory Wiener. And number 6 Fort Bend Chargers take on the Williamson County Homeschool. Number 2 Conroe Covenant is open. And that's going to wrap it up for the Friday edition of the Scoreboard Show. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, and we will go over all of today's results and look at the Saturday game. Sorry for you're watching live coverage of me trying to look up that Marshall Nederland score. And Marshall won that game 24-0 last night. So that was the missing score that I forgot to put in the scoreboard. Anyway, so tune in tomorrow. We'll go over all the scores from tonight's action. We'll look at Saturday's action. So tune in tomorrow at 8 o'clock.